In today's video, we're going to be going over every single one of my games from my Clash Royale League World Finals debut. So guys, my very first opponent of the World Finals was Adriel, who I would say is probably a top 5 player in the world right now. And in today's video, guys, I'm just going to be kind of going over each of my games at World Finals, every single one, and just analyzing them and giving you guys my thought process and stuff like that. I am a little bit sick right now, so if my voice sounds a bit funny, that's why. But yeah, guys, in the first game, I decided to play this Lava Hound Lightning deck against Adriel. And the reason why is because I'm a Cycle main, and when people go on stage for the first time, they're often very, very nervous, so they try to play decks that they're comfortable with, and I'm comfortable with Cycle, so I knew that Adriel would probably try to snipe that, and I wanted to get a deck that would kind of counter-snipe his snipe to me. So Adriel actually ended up going for a Golem deck, which, you know, can normally be fine for Lava Hound when you have like the Evo cage to suck it in and stuff like that, but unfortunately for me, he had a really good version against air. He had like the Furnace, the Zappies, and the Spirit Empress. He just went for a really aggressive Golem. I did know that my Evo cage would be coming up in Cycle though, so I was just kind of waiting for that. I went for my Empress kind of early, and here I was thinking that Adriel could try to go for something to kill my Empress, so I had to go for a cage really early, so I could pull in the Golem and let my Empress kill whatever he would play to snipe it down. So yeah, I played the Evo cage way up high, then that allowed me to just take down his Zappies. Now he was able to get a Barbara and stuff onto my Evo cage, but I feel like it was worth it to play it as I did just to get my Spirit Empress and Skelly Drags to kill his Zappies and everything. I did take a little bit of damage in the process, but it was nothing too bad. Okay, it's kind of lagging. Hello? Okay, we're back. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Adriel played his very last card, the Lumberjack, and at this point we were kind of just even. I mean, I was up a couple elixir. He actually went for the Berserker at the bridge, and I decided to go ahead and arrows it. Some people were saying in hindsight that they think I should have just maybe ignored the Berserker, but honestly, I think those arrows were good. They prevented quite a bit of damage. Adriel ended up going for a Golem in the opposite lane right here. And yeah, I just wanted to support my Lava Hound a little bit and make sure that I could defend well with the Goblin Cage. And guys, by the way, in the World Finals, okay, it's kind of lagging again, man, but I don't think it's going to lag anymore from here, guys. I just think like a little bit of the replay got messed up on YouTube. I don't know why. Well, he should be good from now on. But yeah, I got a nice Evo Valkyrie here to pull his Empress in, pull his Golem backwards as well. He was able to defend easily too, but overall, nothing too bad happened. But yeah, guys, I mean, in the World Finals, you actually can't play on your normal device. They give you like a special device to play World Finals on. So you either have the option of an iPhone 15 Pro or an iPad. And I decided to actually go for the iPad. Normally I play Clash Royale on phone on my Samsung Galaxy, but the iPad is just a nice size. I'm kind of used to it since I record videos on it, even though I play competitions on Samsung. And the iPhone 15 Pro, man, it's just so small that I could just not play on it. So yeah, I was on an iPad here. They also give us some noise canceling headphones as well, so we could kind of not get too distracted by the crowd and the casters and stuff like that. But man, the crowd was so loud during some of my games, guys, that I was still able to hear the crowd and everything like that. So here, Adriel went for a Golem. I just went for a Hound into it. I wasn't actually really trying to push in the left lane, but I just wanted to get a distraction down so I could then probably get a nice Evo cage down low. I got my arrows cycled early. I just wanted to get 2 sets of arrows to be able to kill the Furnace. I didn't want to have to waste a lightning onto it. Now here, guys, I think I made a pretty big mistake actually, which didn't really seem like a mistake at all at the time, but I played my Evo cage just a little bit early, and that allowed him to basically just vines to fully kill it. But in hindsight, I was talking to Mohammed like a little bit, and he said that he thinks it would have been a lot better if I just held on to my cage for a few seconds longer, because that way the vines would have just barely not been enough to take it out, and it probably could have sucked in that Golem a little bit better. But you know, I survived at least. I was kind of looking bad now. I just had to get my lightning off and try to win this one with chip damage. I knew it wouldn't be easy though, and you know, I was on the World Finals stage for the first time with a deck that is not really one of my main comfort decks or anything like that. I did get my Evo Valkyrie maybe a little bit low, but I don't think it really mattered. He just went for his vines onto it anyways. And guys, a lot of the players here at World Finals are veterans who have been in World Finals like even 4 or 5 times, some of them at least a couple times. I was the very... No, I was the only person who was on a stage for the very first time at this event. The only other person who hadn't been to a World Finals before besides me was Frontier Guard, who was the Chinese player. But even then, that guy was still on a stage when he was qualifying for the World Finals. But this was actually my very, very first stage experience. I got my lightning down, but it wasn't quite enough. And here I knew I just had to try to cycle one more lightning and arrows, but I don't think I even had enough time. And even if I did get the lightning, it would not have quite done enough damage. So at this point, guys, I knew I had to really lock in against Adriel, because being down 0-1 is not a good thing, especially for your very first debut game. So guys, in the next game up against Adriel, I was kind of just like leaking my elixir here, and so was Adriel. You know, we were both kind of just playing heavier decks. And I mean, I just knew Adriel was going to try to snipe my cycle decks in general, so I just didn't want to play my typical decks like Hog Earthquake and Monitor Cycle, that kind of thing. And once I saw the Valkyrie plus the guards here, guys, I pretty much already knew that it would probably be a Lava Hound deck out of Adriel. And I decided to play a Goblin Drill Executioner deck here. And normally you would think that with the Executioner you would hard counter Lava Hound, but Adriel had like the Valkyrie here to counter my drill. He had guards as well, also Cage is pretty nice. And he had a lightning as well to take down everything, so it was not going to be nearly as easy as it looked. And guys, this deck pick here was actually my own deck pick. My coach did give me like a paper. So basically what that paper does is that I had a paper from my coach that told me like, this is our opener. This is what we play game 1. And then for game 2, I play like this deck. If Adriel uses this deck, then I play this deck. And then it just showed like a bunch of decks there. Like if Adriel uses Hog game 1, I would use like, I don't know, Graveyard game 2, just as an example. And it just have like a bunch of those options of what Adriel could play, and it would tell me what to play next. But my coach actually did not cover the Golem deck that Adriel used in the game 1, so I just made a solo pick here with this Giant Skeleton Goblin Drill deck. I mean, we had it on the paper. My coach just put like some overall comfort decks to play if I'm not sure what to play. So I decided to use this. I did go for a drill all the way in the back just so the Valkyrie wouldn't aggro onto it, and I was able to get a little bit of chip damage. Adriel still had not even gone for a single Lava Hound at this point. I was playing really well just abusing the Zappies because I knew that he would have lightning, so the Zappies would get pretty good value. They do really well unless your opponent has like a Fireball, usually. But yeah, I was thinking this matchup could get pretty hard later on in the game, so I was just trying to be pretty aggressive in single elixir to make sure that I could hopefully get a nice damage lead and not have to worry too much later in the game. The nice thing for me was that Adriel did have the Evo Baby Dragon and not the Evo Cage. I feel like if he had Evo Cage, it would be like a lot harder. But yeah, I pulled the Flying Machine in with the Tornado. Really good Tornado right there. Here my cycle was really awkward, so I just went in for a Goblin Drill and a Golden Knight. Honestly, guys, that Golden Knight was a big mistake by me. I feel like, I mean, it kind of survived past the Valkyrie, I guess, but then it just like switched lanes. Bro, if that Golden Knight didn't switch lanes, guys, that could have actually been good for me. But yeah, switch lanes. I went for a Giant Skelly here just to tank for the Executioner, but Adriel got such a good lightning. Maybe I could have played the Giant Skelly up high, to be honest, but I don't even know. But it was just so hard to kill these Lava Pups here. I tried to get late Zappies down, but the Baby Dragon was just getting so much damage. I don't even know what I was supposed to do right there. I think really just that Golden Knight cost me, and once I played that, there was not much I could do except maybe go for that Giant Skelly up high instead of down low like I did. So here I was kind of trying to set up on the left side, guys. I just wanted Adriel to push in the opposite lane that he was going for, so he wouldn't get a chance to keep on chipping me down and make pushes and stuff like that. I got my Evo Executioner, got my Goblin Drill as well. I pulled the Flying Machine in with the NATO thinking my Executioner would stay alive, but he played the arrows, so it did die. Honestly, that wasn't a bad Tornado, though, because it still put his Flying Machine in front of the rest of his push, but yeah, guys, it was all or nothing for me here. I was already thinking I lost the game, but I did get an Evo Ghost down, so I knew that I could potentially have a good chance just with like a really good Golden Knight Tornado combo, or maybe I could force out some of his troops on my Evo Ghost here, and my Giant Skeleton could get a lot of value. But yeah, I was playing my Zappies really well here on the Baby Dragons every single time. Also got a really good Executioner here. Adriel just went all in with the Lava Hound, guys. I think that was a really bad Lava Hound out of Adriel. I decided to punish him. I got my Zappies right on the Flying Machine, and I basically completely shut down his push for 4 elixir. Got my Golden Knight at the bridge here. I knew he would go for like a Goblin Cage, so I didn't ability right away. Executioner, though, was able to get a beautiful lineup on the tower, and my Golden Knight was staying alive for a bit longer. I could have popped the ability here, guys, but I was looking at the Lava Pups on my right side tower. I finally popped the ability so late. I honestly think I could have probably just won the game right there, guys, if I popped the ability earlier, but I was like so focused on the Lava Pups on the bottom right side. But yeah, I got my Zappies down right here. He got the lightning down. I just had one more chance to go in, guys. I got the Golden Knight, got the Evo Executioner, got the Giant Skelly. I pulled the Valkyrie to the side. Got the one Goblin on the tower, but I should have just pulled the Valkyrie to the tower so I could Golden Knight dash on the tower. I knew here he would lightning, so I got my Zappies to try to block it. Executioner was going towards the tower. I could have played the Zappies like 0.1 seconds later, and I would have blocked the lightning, but I didn't, and Adriel won. Alright guys, so next up I was up against Vitor, and I had a 0% win rate at this point, so I decided that I'm just going to go for a deck that's a little bit more comfortable for me, you know, instead of trying to try too hard to counter snipe or do this or that. I decided to play a Mortar deck, which I'm very good with. I'm very good with Mortar. I actually used a Mortar deck to qualify to the World Finals in the first place. I used it to get the golden ticket in the first month of CRL. So yeah, I had a pretty cool mortar variation. It actually didn't even have the Evo mortar. It was just like a mortar Skeleton King version with the Ghost. And Vitor was actually playing a Goblin Drill deck, so it was very good for me to have the Ghost and the Skeleton King. It would just make sure that the drills would basically never catch me out of cycle. Like I would always have a good counter to it in hand pretty much. The only issue I knew would be the Evo Snowball, so I just wanted to make sure that I could get a lot of damage in single elixir, so I wouldn't have to worry about Evo Snowballs destroying me later in the game. The thing is, in this matchup, defense is pretty easy, but they're just sometimes hard to break through if they play perfectly, and I don't know why Vitor just let my mortar get on the tower. I think he maybe thought like the Berserker would distract it or something, so I got my Starmie here blocking the Tesla. He got the Fire Spirit. I just got my Vines down, guys, and I got a mortar right on the tower. Also, excuse me, just a little bit of my cold, but yeah, I got some pretty good early damage here. He went for a really, really bad drill. I think he was trying to punish me. I mean, he got the Evo Snowball, right? Like, he got some damage, but he just spent so much elixir. He was down elixir. I had a whole Skelly King on the map, so I was feeling pretty good right here. I knew I could still punish him. Yeah, there's my 0% win rate in the bottom right corner. I don't know if you guys can see that. Maybe my editor is gonna make it so you guys won't see that part of the screen. But yeah, I got a Mother Witch down the middle. Didn't really do much though, but yeah, my Evo Ghost was doing something. My Skelly King on the right side forced out his Snowball, but then he had no elixir to deal with my Mother Witch. Then I got right on the tower, then the Mother Witch turned around and turned a piggy out of a skeleton right there, and I just got so much damage. I was looking so good here. And one of the main reasons I wanted to play this deck, guys, was because I knew that a mortar deck with like vines and stuff like that, it's so good for catching your opponent off guard. Because at World Finals, guys, everyone's so nervous. It's really hard to get perfect interactions, like to perfectly counter all these aggressive bait cards and stuff like that. So I knew this deck would be perfect to beat someone who might be a little bit nervous. And to be honest, pretty much everyone is a little bit nervous at World Finals. So yeah, it was looking really, really good for me. The crowd was already going really loud, man. The crowd was absolutely insane. Like every single time I made even like a mediocre play, the crowd was already going so loud. That's what Riley said. When I would just like play my vines randomly, the crowd would already be, you know, screaming and stuff like that. You could see I was looking up at that crowd a little bit, some random points as well. I did get my minion horde down here to kill the bomber and stuff, and mortar actually was able to, I believe, get on the tower. Yeah, I got one nice mortar shot on the tower, so I just needed to get like one minor hit at this point, and Vine Spell would be enough. But guys, keep in mind that every single set is a best of 3 duels, so it doesn't matter who wins the first game, it matters who gets to 2 wins first. So yeah, he went for the Evo Snowball, he blocked my minor with the Fire Spirit, but it still got on his tower, and I took the first win. Alright guys, so hopping straight into the next match, can you guys guess what deck I was playing here? Well, I think a lot of you... Wait, restart. Alright guys, in the next game against Vitor, I knew that if I could win this game, I could close it out against him and take my first duel win in the World Finals. So Adriel decided to go for... Wait, restart again. Can you guys guess what deck I was playing here, man? I was in a 1-0 position against Vitor, so I knew if I win one more game, I'm going to win the best of 3 duel and take my first duel win in World Finals. And guys, a lot of people who qualify for World Finals for the first time, they just end up getting first rounded, which means that they just lose 2 sets in a row and they get 0 wins. So yeah, I played the Earthquake up here, guys, and I looked up at the crowd. I knew that, you know, the crowd would recognize that I was playing Hog Earthquake here. I had to bring my my bread and butter to the stage at least one time, guys, so yeah, I did it for all of you guys. Vitor was playing a giant skeleton deck with the Mother Witch. I kind of was thinking it could be a Royal Hogs deck right here. When I saw... yeah, like the Zappies, the Skarmy, and everything. He had arrows as well, which was kind of annoying for me because Firecracker obviously gets wrecked by arrows. I did get my Hog here to get a hit on the tower, but I was actually kind of scared here, guys, because I had to kind of overspend with the cannon, the skeletons. I think I also had to go for an E-Spirit as well. Yes, I was a little bit scared at this point that I was down a lot of elixir, and I was down quite a bit. You know, I was down like a good 3 elixir here. It was honestly pretty hard to like keep track of elixir and Evo cycle and stuff like that on the stage, but I feel like I was doing a really good job for the most part throughout my time on the stage. And guys, honestly, I thought I would be really nervous on the stage, but I actually really wasn't nervous at all. I mean, you guys will see some moments later I was a little bit nervous, but almost not at all, though. But yeah, I got a really good Mighty Miner right here, just recognizing that Vitor had no E-Spirit in his deck or like a log. He did get the Zappies down, but just so late. And my Hog also got on his tower because he kind of just overspent with those Zappies and had a bad cycle. So yeah, I was off to a very good start. Also, the Barbarian Barrel really helps in this deck to deal with the Royal Ghost when you don't have a Mighty Monitor in cycle. Vitor went for the Mother Witch, but honestly was not really the best Mother Witch for him. His Ghost died. I just went for a Mighty Monitor, and I think I got my Skeletons down just to preserve the HP of the Mighty Monitor, make sure that Vitor would have to respond to it still. But yeah, Vitor, you know, he had the arrows, he had the Fisherman, and really just the Evo Ghost, I would say is probably the biggest issue in this matchup for my deck, but I just kept on getting such good interactions, kept on getting him in a bad cycle, and I always got really good Mighty Monitors whenever he did not have his Zappies or his Fisherman ready to pull it away, so I was doing really, really good here. And obviously this was my comfort deck in Vitor. I'm sure he's a good RG player, but it's probably not like his main deck or something like that, so I knew that I could probably outplay pretty good. Like when I picked this deck, guys, I wasn't really expecting to get a hard counter or anything like that. I was just hoping to get at least an okay matchup, even if it was a little bit difficult. Just something that I could outplay in. Once again, I completely just wrecked his Fisherman here, and I didn't even have to overspend on that RG just because the Fisherman was getting blocked. I knew he would arrows here, then Scar me, so I went for a pre-Earthquake, guys, and I completely caught the Skeleton Army, man. I could feel that Scar me coming from a mile away. I knew without his Fisherman in cycle, he had to do that. Now, I could have just Earthquake cycled at this point, but Earthquake does not do much damage at tourney standard, and I had no log in my deck, so I knew that I wanted to just defend first here. But guys, I was actually in a little bit of trouble. He got his Evo Ghost down, his Zappies constantly resetting my Mighty Monitor, so they weren't doing anything. Barbara was able to kill the Zappies, though, and I got a beautiful Mighty Monitor ability. That ability, low-key, kind of saved me. My Firecracker was able to kill the Ghost, thankfully, but you guys could see it was getting a little bit close at this point. Imagine if the bomb didn't go off on that Mighty Monitor. I actually, low-key, could have lost a lot of my tower there. But yeah, at this point, I just wanted to go in for a Hog Rider. I knew that the Mighty Monitor would block the left side tower, so a Fisherman would not fully counter the Hog. He had to go for Zappies and the Fisherman, which meant that he was very low Elixir, so that would just give me enough time to get 2 Earthquakes on the tower and take the set win against Vitor. So yeah, guys, this was my very first duel win of the World Finals. Alright guys, so next up I was up against Lucas X Gamer, and guys, both Vitor and Lucas X Gamer are 5-time world finalists, I believe, so they've been to 5 world finalists before, and 5 world finals before, and this was my very first one, so I knew the odds would be kind of against me, even though everyone expected me to win overall and do well in the tournament. I knew that in terms of actual experience on stage, I would be at a pretty big disadvantage. I thought Lucas would have the Goblin out here when I saw the Ghost, so I just went for the Firecracker kind of way up high, expecting that. My Hog actually got a hit there somehow, in typical fashion for my Hog Riders. And Lucas defended pretty well. Alright guys, so the match kept on going. You know, Lucas went for a Monitor on the tower. I got my Hog down. Got also a Mighty Monitor to push his Monitor off the tower. Didn't quite have the Elixir to get my Earthquake right away on the cannon, but overall, it was looking okay. Honestly, I think I kind of maybe would have preferred if Lucas had the Wall Breakers version of this Monitor deck with like the Goblin Hut over the cannon and the Wall Breakers over the Ice Spirit, because with this version of the deck that he had, his cycle was just so quick. Also, I tried to get a Mighty Monitor ability, didn't quite get it off in time, but honestly, I don't think it really mattered too much either way. But yeah, his version was just so quick, guys, and you would think that well, Earthquake just hard counters cannon, but good players who use the cannon, who are cycle players, if they have like a Ice Spirit or Skeletons or something, they can always just play their cannon up high and then push the Hog to the opposite lane. I actually once again got a good Hog hit there, so honestly, really good start for me, but yeah, they can always just like push the Hogs to the opposite lane using an Ice Spirit, using Skeletons, and then you can only Earthquake the tower or the cannon, not both of them. So it gets really hard to break through. And yeah, now it was double Elixir, so I knew it would be a lot harder for me at this point. Now it was going to be a really good time for Lucas. In single Elixir, it's a good time for Hog usually in this type of game, but yeah, now it was going to be a lot better for Lucas. I did get my Firecracker down. Didn't really catch anything like I was hoping, though. I was just hoping it could get some sort of random connection, but did not quite work out. Lucas did have an Evo Ghost with quite a few ghouls here. I had to get my log down. I also got a really good ability. Yeah, beautiful ability right there. Honestly, pretty bad minions out of Lucas. And look how much damage he got still, man. He got so much Monitor chip, and he kept on just defending perfectly. There was like nothing I could do to break through, it felt like. I just kept on going in for the Hog Riders. Got a pre-Earthquake, which did catch the cannon, but like with the Ice Spirit, with his King up and everything, there was literally just no way for me to break through. Now, I got a really good Mighty Monitor here, which actually kept my Cracker alive a little bit longer. I decided to get a second one down as well. And guys, notice how much pressure I was applying in the opposite lane here of Lucas. I just did not want to go same lane in this matchup, because if you do, you just give them free poison value. But yeah, he just went for a Monitor poison on the tower. I literally could not do anything about that Monitor. I didn't have my Mighty Monitor in cycle to kill it, and poison would just kill Skeletons. And yeah, it was just not looking too good for me at this point. I think maybe if I had like a Barbarian Barrel in my deck, I could have done a little bit better here. Like a Barbarrel to kill his cannons up high might help a bit, or against like the Ghost it could help a bit. I did protect my Evo Firecracker a bit here, but it actually didn't even matter because the minions were able to kill it, unfortunately, anyways. Maybe Ice Spirit would have helped in my deck a bit as well to catch the miners. It just stuns them up for a bit longer, but I don't even know. But yeah, I was actually kind of chipping Lucas back a little bit right here. I was kind of getting just slightly back into this game. I got my Evo Cannon, but man, it just completely missed the 2 minions. I got a really good Firecracker though, so honestly, the cannon didn't really matter. The Cracker was still able to kill the miner anyways, and he kind of just had a bad poison. It would just to chip my tower. I got a really good log, got a really good Earthquake predicting he would go for the cannon in that kind of inside placement, but once again, I just got no hits. The Ice Spirit kept on messing me up. See, if you had like wall breakers in this deck, guys, his cycle would be getting so much more awkward, but he was always able to have such a good cycle. I got my Hog, got my Earthquake. It just did not matter whatsoever, man, against that Evo Ghost. Anyways, guys, I do have some really important stuff to tell you, but I'll probably tell you later, maybe in the later matches against Lucas. I'll explain to you guys some things that happen. So yeah, he once again got a cannon, guys, and I know people always think there's like a position with the Earthquake that can fully counter any building, but actually they could play a cannon in a position where the normal Earthquake tile cannot hit it, so you kind of just have to predict where they're going to play it. But yeah, I got a really good Earthquake. You got another Firecracker down as well, but yeah, I was just not breaking through. I had a really good start too, but I feel like this matchup is actually pretty hard if they play perfect and they don't have a terrible start. Lucas had a pretty bad start, but yeah, even with that, I still could not really do much. Alright guys, so in game 2 up against Lucas, I was down 0-1, which was just an absolutely terrible spot to be in. You know, it just felt like a repeat of the Adriel game. I did play a Mortar deck here. I decided to go for a Mortar in game 2. It worked really well against Vitor, so I was like, I might as well go for a Mortar deck again. And it actually paid off, guys. I went for the Mortar first play, and I just got the Mortar straight away locked on the tower, forced out a whole Archer Queen. I got a really good Boss Bandit really up high to make sure he couldn't react that quickly with his ability. So I was able to kill that. And I actually took this deck from Muhammad Light, guys. Muhammad Light was playing this Boss Bandit Mortar deck. And you guys can see that there's kind of special variations of decks that were getting really popular in World Finals, like this, you know, Boss Bandit Mortar deck. I think quite a few people were using after Muhammad played it. And why it's so good is that, well, first off, Mortar Bait is really good, right? Like, if you get them to, like, mess up a spell, one single spell, they could just completely lose the game, right? If they mess up a single spell. But then also you have the Boss Bandit, which just goes so quickly. If they mess up like one tile placement, anything, they could just be completely dead. So yeah, the Boss Bandit is a really good card. I thought this Mortar deck looked pretty awkward at first, but after trying it out a little bit, I realized it would actually be a pretty good option. So yeah, I got a nice Ewas up high. I don't know why Lucas played the Goblin Hut so high instead of playing it a bit lower. Maybe he just was a bit nervous or something like that. You know, I could kind of feel that Lucas was nervous here, guys, and I was kind of trying to take advantage of that, but I was actually pretty surprised because I thought that, you know, I would be the one getting picked apart by these multiple world finalists, right? Like multiple time world finalists, since I was just here for the first time. But no, I could kind of feel that he was a bit nervous, and I felt the crowd always cheering me. I sometimes was like looking up at the crowd, trying to like get the energy of the crowd on my, I guess on my side. Like they were on my side, but like I tried to get their energy, their positive energy into the game, if you know what I mean. Played kind of a bad Goblin Gang there right into Lucas's Evo Valkyrie, unfortunately, but overall things were pretty even at this point. Wasn't really looking too good for me here because with this type of Mortar deck, usually you want to get a lot of your damage in single elixir in this sort of matchup. Lucas did end up going for a Goblin Drill, which I feel like was not really the best play for him, and he completely overcommitted there with the Evo Snowball. That was just a complete waste of an Evo Snowball. I don't even know if I needed that Goblin Gang or not, but you know, I was fine to do it. Got my Evo Mortar on this side, and he'd have to overspend with the Valkyrie on the other side. I got a beautiful Boss Bandit ability, man. The Boss Bandit was just tearing Lucas apart. I got my Evo Skelly Barrel. I knew he'd have to go for a Goblin Hut late. He ended up going for it, but the Evo Skelly Barrel spawned so many skeletons that it just does not end. And he just did not kill the Boss Bandit. And just like I was talking about, guys, the Boss Bandit was what was completely messing up Lucas here. I feel like if Lucas had like guards in his deck or something, or even skeletons, he could stop the Boss Bandit a lot better, but because he had Berserker, it's just not really the best. And I don't know, I feel like Lucas kind of just messed up on that one Goblin Drill. I think a player as good as Lucas with Cyclodex Loki could have a chance in this type of matchup for sure. It was really just the Boss Bandit that was kind of wrecking him, but I think if he didn't overspend on that one Drill Evo Snowball, and he just played like full defense, I think he might have been able to win. Maybe not, I'm not sure, but yeah, I took the game, so we were 1-1 at this point. So guys, based on the paper my coach gave me, it was telling me to play a Graveyard Goblin Hut deck in the third game, but I did have the Barbarian Barrel out since I used it in the second deck, so if I wanted to play Graveyard, I'd have to play it without the Bar Barrel. And guys, here I played the Bar Barrel and the Log, so I was expecting that a Logbait deck could be a very big threat out of Lucas, so I decided to play Minor Rocket. And I did put the Snowball in. Honestly, maybe I could have actually played Minor Poison. I could have put like a Poison instead of the Rocket. That might have actually been better, because I feel like this deck could still struggle against some Bait Vines decks, just like would struggle to kill the Dark Goblin and stuff like that without a Log. And guys, look, I was literally just looking up and I pointed at Nate here. I don't know how many of you guys know Nate, but he's a YouTuber, Clash Royale YouTuber. He doesn't really post much nowadays, but he's one of the better Minor Rocket players. You could see Lucas was like looking over to see what I was doing, I think. But yeah, like mid-game I was pointing. I wasn't being like overconfident or cocky or something like that. I just found it fun to look at the crowd a little bit during moments where I knew that I could. So yeah, my game plan here was kind of just like spam Teslas, get little bits of Minor Chip. I wasn't really planning to even Rocket Cycle Lucas, because in this type of matchup, if you do Rocket Cycle, usually you get punished pretty badly, so it's better just to play it more like a Minor Chip type of deck most of the time. But yeah, anyways, guys, like I was saying earlier, well, you guys will see more of it later, actually, in this video, but against Vitor, after my win, I thanked God and stuff like that, and man, apparently, you're not allowed to actually say that, on the stage. Like, I don't know, I'm not trying to like criticize Supercell or anything like that, but yeah, apparently you're not allowed to say that. But man, honestly guys, I have to tell you, man, one of the major differences with me this year is that I feel like I allowed God to work through me a lot more than I did in the past, and it really showed with how far I got this year in CRL. It just like improves your mentality so much, and just to know that you're going down the right path in life, it just helps you in every single aspect. And yeah, for me, Clash Royale got helped a lot by being closer to God, and by also by like working out and stuff, just like having good discipline. I feel like it just really helped me in this game. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And yeah, here Lucas went for the RG in the back. I decided to just go for my Rocket onto it. It's actually a pretty good play. It takes half the RG's HP off, and you get like a good almost 400 damage. Now guys, also, I know I'm yapping a little bit here, but man, I just want to tell you guys a lot of things, all right? But yeah, one other thing I want to tell you guys is that with the prize money, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to... Okay, I don't know how that RG got a shot, by the way. I don't know how that RG got a shot. Also, I saw Lucas had the Tesla here. He actually put the Tesla instead of a Fisherman, even though he had Fisherman open, I think because he was scared of me running like a Lava Hound deck or something like that. Maybe some sort of deck that Tesla could really help out against. I just barely got my Tesla down in time here, but yeah, anyways, I went for a Knight, but I messed it up. I messed it up. He got a huge monk, and I thought I might be dead here. Anyways, back to what I was saying earlier. Yeah, with the prize money, guys, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give a percent to my coach who originally got me here. And then I had a different coach for World Finals than my original coach, so I'm going to give a percent to him as well. And then with the rest of the money, I'm planning to use 51% for a good cause and 49% for myself. Yeah, I feel like it's really important to give back and stuff like that, honestly. It just brings good energy to you, and I feel like it just helps so much to... I don't know how to explain it, man, but it helps a lot to know that you're doing, like, good in this world and stuff like that, you know? But yeah. And you know what I'm going to donate to, I think, is I'm going to donate to this program called High Noon. I just want to shout out that program. It's like a non-profit, and basically what its goal is to, like, help people... I guess kind of dissolve the shadows in their life. Like every single person watching right now, every single person on Earth basically has some sort of shadows, like things that they're like ashamed about and they just don't know how to deal with and stuff like that really affect their daily life, whether they realize it or not. And yeah, High Noon is a non-profit. It's only afloat from like people donating and, you know, like staff volunteering and stuff like that. But yeah, it has like these different programs of like these different videos and stuff that you can watch that kind of help you, and I think there's also some like group calls and stuff like that as well. But yeah, I would highly suggest looking into it. I'm gonna donate a good amount of my money to that, because I mean I feel like, you know, in this world we have like more than enough resources to give everyone food and stuff like that, and make sure everyone has like, I don't know, adequate technology and stuff like that. Also, sorry, my nose is running a little bit, but yeah, we have enough, you know, resources to do all of that. But what people are really lacking, I feel like, is just good, I guess, you know. But yeah, anyways, moving on, guys. Okay, here it is. 10, 9, 8. I threw the rocket. I played it on the outside because I'm thinking like Lucas is gonna go for the monk on the inside to reflect it. But guys, that moment was so hyped. The crowd was so loud. I knew Lucas would try to predict the middle, I thought, because like the rocket travels the fastest when you put it the most on the inside. So I put it on the outside, but he predicted that I put it on the outside. But he was like 0.1 seconds too late, so it didn't reflect the rocket. He was just barely too slow with his ability. So guys, kind of unfortunately for me, Mohamed Light actually ended up losing to subs, so he dropped to the lower bracket. So I was facing Mohamed Light here, and whoever lost between us would be out of World Finals. Either Mohamed Light would get eliminated, or I would get eliminated. Now, I decided to play a Royal Giant Mega Knight deck here in this match. I was kind of expecting Cycle out of Mohamed, some sort of comfort deck, and he ended up playing his very most comfort with this Minor Poison deck. Now, the issue is, guys, is that, yeah, you could get good matchups against this type of Minor Poison deck, but, man, it's, like, so strong right now. The cards are so good. There's so much outplay with it that literally, like, no matter what you run, they always have a chance to beat you. And I know that because I was actually maining this deck just recently, and I finished number 3 in the world with the deck that Mohamed Light is playing. So, yeah, I knew the matchup could definitely be... I thought the matchup would be pretty decent for me, but I feel like I made one very big mistake that you guys will see here very soon, that I'll try to explain to you guys. So yeah, you know, I had a pretty chill start overall. I just had to be really careful of the Evo wall breakers especially. Now, I feel like one thing that was kind of bad for me is that Mohamed Light did get his king up kind of early. I didn't really have much of a choice, though. I kind of had to cycle my Firecracker when I did up high because my cycle was just so bad. But yeah, he got a little bit of chip damage at the start, but one of the major issues, guys, is that I had the Barbarian Barrel in my deck, and Mohamed Light had Evo Skeletons. And he didn't reveal it yet, but he did have the Goblin Hut in his deck as well. So that would make it very hard to take down his stuff. Like, the Barbarel doesn't reach that far, so if they go for Evo Skellies low, like Mohamed Light would obviously do, well, I just could not kill them, basically. Or if you went for, like, Goblin Huts, the Barbarel just does not reach the Spear Goblins, which is pretty bad. Like, if I had a log, it would help so much. And I also did have the Lightning in this deck as well, which just made it so expensive and, like, so hard to kill the Ice Wizard because it's just too much elixir. Also, I got my Firecracker a little bit of a bad positioning there. I took a Wall Breaker to the tower. That was just my bad right there. But yeah, his king being up kind of made it a little bit worse for me because my Mega Knights would just not get as much value. But yeah, I knew with my Evo Mega Knight I could have a chance to get a breakthrough, so I went for that John right in the back. The normal Mega Knights don't really do much in this matchup, but the Evos can just kind of chuck around the Mighty Miner and stuff and can usually do a little bit more. But yeah, this Goblin Hut was just so annoying, man. I could literally just, like, not do anything about it. I got a really good Lightning, though, but it didn't even kill the Ice Wizard, actually. It just targeted kind of the wrong thing. And you guys can see just how hard it was to break through here. Like, I thought this matchup would be good, but what am I even supposed to do here about this Spear Goblin stack up, you know? He just went for the Miner in the back, and I got a Mega Knight, almost pushing the Miner towards my King Tower, actually. Defended the wall breakers just very lightly, so I did take quite heavy damage once again. I knew Mohamed Light would probably try to get a Mighty Miner up high, so I got a Fisherman just to make sure that couldn't happen. And I just did not have a chance to go for a single RG at this point, guys. Mohamed Light was just not letting me do literally anything. Now, on the bright side, guys, I knew that even though it would be very hard to come back in this game, that Mohamed Light's best deck would be out for the rest of the games against him, like the rest of the duel. So that would be good for me. But look at the Evo Skellies, man. I just could not do anything about them. I literally just couldn't kill them. If I had to wait to kill those Evo Skellies there, I feel like my RG could have maybe actually done quite a bit right there. Firecracker was doing a pretty good job, but it actually missed one Evo Skelly. I just went for a very late Barbaro just to be safe. Ended up helping me distract the Ice Wizard, but I was down quite a bit here. But guys, with this RG deck here, it's the best in triple elixir. So in triple elixir, you finally have the elixir to go for like a Lightning, a Mega Knight, and everything all at once. Whereas before, I just never had the elixir for what I needed. So I knew this would be my one chance to actually get something going for myself. And by the way, guys, I just want to say thank you all so much for all the crazy support, man. Like both online and all the people in person and stuff, man. Like when I was backstage in my first game, when I faced Adriel, I was like, I almost like shed, I said it in the stream, but I almost shed like a tear there, bro. I was like so emotional that there were so many people supporting me and stuff, man. It was crazy to see that. I was just so grateful to be there as well. But yeah, man, these Goblin Huts were so annoying, bro. I don't know if I needed like an Earthquake, maybe. I don't even know if that would have been enough, though, dude. Then he would just spam Ice Wizard. Wallbreaker actually somehow did not connect, so I just barely was holding on for dear life, guys. I got double Mega Knight. I got my Evo Ghost down as well. Mohamed did a really bad Barbarian Barrel. Bro, that Barbara almost just sold Mohamed Light the game, I thought. I thought maybe here's a chance to get a win. The Fisherman was not on the Miner, though, but I tried to get an E-Spirit, then Fisherman was still kind of goofing around, but my tower was still just barely alive. I got a really good Lightning down. He got his Evo Wallbreaker because I thought they'd connect and I just lost the game. Ghost hit one of them. The other was going to connect, I thought, but no, it didn't. But then he got the poison down and he just barely was able to steal that game. I mean, I guess I would have stole it if I had won that. With everything on the line against Mohamed Light, I decided to go for the same mortar deck in Game 2 that I used against Lucas in Game 2. I knew it would be kind of like an obvious choice out of me, but it was just a deck that I was very comfortable with, so I thought I could do well with it. And also, sometimes if you pick a deck that's so obvious, it's like so obvious that the coach of the opponent will just not cover it, because, you know, if everyone knows you're going to run like Hog Rider, for example, like why would they cover it, right? Like it's so obvious, like of course you're going to think they're not going to go for a Hog Rider, right? But yeah, that's kind of the reasoning. I did get my king up really nicely there off the Firecracker. I kind of already knew Mohamed Light would have a Hog deck, which is normally a complete hard counter to the deck that I had, but you guys will see he had like a few changes to the deck. You know, he had like the Ghost and stuff like that. Unfortunately for me, though, the guards were really bad for the Boss Bandit. Guards just counter Boss Bandit so easily. Ewis did get a nice hit on the tower, though. But yeah, guys, at this point, I already thought that I lost the World Finals because, man, Hog just hard counters Mortar so easily. But yeah, I mean, like, the Ghost is kind of terrible against Boss Bandit most of the time unless it's evolved. When it's evoed, then it can actually deal with it. But yeah, the guards just, I knew would really make it up for Mohamed Light. He did have Tesla, though, which is not quite as good as a cannon, I guess, against the deck that I was running. But it's still, I knew would pretty easily get the job done. Mohamed did end up going for a Hog Rider. I just got a really good Ewis up high. I was getting my interactions down really well here. I knew that Hog would get 0 hits, and I was right. Thank goodness. Ewis actually got on the tower. Mohamed Light kind of messed up his Ghost there. I think he just went for it like a second too late. That was actually a pretty big mistake out of him. I didn't even realize he made that mistake until right now, but that got me like a free 300 damage, so I was in quite a decent lead right here. Goblin Gang did force out his guards, which was, I guess, not bad. I did want to push same lane as Mohamed Light because I knew if I go same lane, he would just really struggle to build up great Hog Rider pushes. Now, his Hog Rider did force out my Ewis right here. I kind of had to go for that, otherwise I would have taken a lot of damage. He got a decent Evo Ghost, but I was able to completely wreck it. And I got a nice Evo Skeleburrow opposite lane. I was going to try to make a bit of double lane pressure here, guys, because if you always go in one lane with a deck like this, it's not really that hard to stop the pushes, but if you play like a split lane type of game, usually it works out a lot better. I did get my Mortar down low right here. Mohamed Light just went for a really aggressive Hog. And when he didn't play the Earthquake here, guys, I knew that he actually had Lightning in his deck over Earthquake, which would give me a small chance in this matchup. Lightning is still really good, though, for killing the Ewis, sometimes killing the Berserker and stuff like that. And the thing is, guys, when you play a Mortar down low, even if your opponent goes for a Hog and Earthquake, the Hog still gets 0 hits. So Earthquake actually doesn't really help Hog that much in this matchup. So honestly, low-key Lightning did not really make a difference. Bossman actually went back here, which was so good for me. If it didn't, that Hog actually might have done a lot. But yeah, I knew he had Lightning here, but it would just actually be worse for me here, I felt like, because if he had Earthquake, I could kind of just like stack the same lane and be all fine and stuff like that. But with the Earthquake, with the Earthquake not being played here, I just had to be so careful of, you know, not playing my Ewis low and stuff like that, not giving too much lightning value, not stacking my troops. But yeah, if you had Earthquake, I could just like stack all I wanted into the right side. I actually went for my Mortar right here. I got an Ewis plus Berserker really, really quickly. Mohamed Light got a terrible Firecracker. Honestly, I was playing pretty much perfect at this point. I feel like I was actually kind of outplaying Mohamed Light. I mean, Mohamed Light was playing really well too at this point, but he did make a couple mistakes. Maybe I'm just noticing them a lot because I'm a Hog main, so, you know, not to like criticize his gameplay or anything. He was doing insanely well. I got a nice Skeleburrow to the tower there, so I was up like 300 damage at this point. He got a really good Firecracker, though. I knew he would go for it, but my Ewis was just like 0.1 seconds too late, so I guess that was a decent mistake by me there. I guess I could have tried to like predict it or something. I once again got my Mortar down. He got a really good log though, man. That Ewis that I had to play up high, guys, that kind of just ruined my cycle. So it made me take that Hog hit there. Dude, honestly, guys, I think that Mortar I played on offense was probably a mistake there. If I didn't play that, I could have just saved it for defense and probably not taken that Hog hit. But yeah, things just were not going too well. He got the Lightning off finally, and yeah, I just knew I would not win unless I got some sort of Mortar connection or a crazy Boss Bandit. If I just tried to Fireball cycle, it would not be good. It would not work, but I was thinking maybe a crazy Skeleburrow could do something. But dude, I think it literally might have just been that one Mortar, guys. I'm not gonna lie, this matchup is actually kind of close. Like, it could really go either way. I could see Hog winning it. I could see Mortar winning it. I think it's probably a good matchup for Hog just because he has the guards. I feel like if he had no guards, I could probably steamroll him with the Boss Bandit, but dude, I lost by like, you know, just like 40 HP. Honestly, well played to Mohamed. It's not easy to play a matchup like that on the big stage. And guys, that was it for my CRL 2025 journey. I ended up getting top 5 in the world. And, you know, I feel like I could do a lot more for sure. I feel like I could definitely do more next year. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to prove to you guys what I have in me. So yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting. And, you know, thank you to God, honestly. And thank you to all of you. Have a good day, everyone.